Mind Bang! A Handmaid's Tale S6E7 shattered. Breakdown. June's heartbreak, Serena's power grab, and my big juicy theory. Okay, so I put on my dad's glasses for like 2 seconds and accidentally saw into the future. And guess what? It's still awful. Gilead's still standing, Serena's still serving that passive-aggressive Stepford wife realness, and Nick? Nick just shattered the collective hearts of Handmaid Nation harder than my ex shattering our IKEA wine glasses during a trust fall. Welcome back to Mind Bang, where we rip apart the latest episode of The Handmaid's Tale like it's a Gilead marriage license, full of red flags and built to burn. Let's get into it. The episode title, Shattered. Yeah, accurate. This episode didn't just shatter alliances, it threw emotional grenades and then walked away in slow motion. If you've been Team Nick, bless your delusional little heart, this was your I need a drink and a therapist episode. Let's start at the top. Nick gives up intel to Wharton. Why? To protect June? To save himself? To maintain his fragile little ego now that he's a commander in a system built by monsters? Probably all of the above. But the worst part, he knows what he did. Nick tells June he didn't think Wharton would go that far, meaning mass executions at Jezebel's. My guy, you've been living in Gilead for years and you still don't understand how low the bar is? This is a country where stoning is considered a light Tuesday activity. And June's reaction? Cold. She doesn't wait for the car to stop before bailing. You know that moment hit like a breakup text written in all caps in Comic Sans. She's done. Nick, you were the chosen one. Let's be real, Nick's been skating on thin moral ice for like 4 seasons now. But this was the swan dive into the frozen lake. He has that little moment where he tries to paint himself as human, and honestly, it was a decent monologue. We all want to save ourselves. We're fucking human. True, but also not good enough, because when he says June only cared about him when it benefited her, you can see it's both true and so damn petty. Like, bro, you're not a podcaster airing grievances. You're a man in a fascist regime who just got women killed. And then there's Rita, the one person still trying to hold a shred of hope for him. And Nick basically tells her they were never friends. They were just co-survivors in a shared trauma house. That's ice cold. Not Nick is complicated cold. That's Nick is a coward cold. So here's the theory. Nick knows he's doomed. He's spiraling. He's leaning into the villainy because it's easier than fighting it. He thinks he can't win. And he might be right. But this isn't a redemption arc anymore. It's a collapse arc. I think Nick's story ends one of 2 ways. A quiet, pathetic suicide to avoid trial. A murder-suicide where he takes Wharton with him in a final Hail Mary to impress June one last time. Either way, he's not making it to the finale credits. Sorry, Tumblr girlies. Luke said what we're all thinking. Don't be in love with a fucking Nazi. You know that line has been sitting in Luke's emotional notes app for seasons. Finally, the man snapped. And you know what? Good for him. I don't always love Luke's character arc. He flip-flops between sad golden retriever and wet blanket. But this week, he snapped back into human mode. He's right, Nick isn't a soft, dreamy rebel anymore. He's a commander. Full stop. June was seeing him through trauma goggles, and Luke just yanked those goggles off and slapped her with reality. Moira and June back in sync. Every time Moira forgives June, a little part of me wants to scream, "You deserve better." But also, that's the kind of loyalty that makes The Handmaid's Tale tick. Moira reminds June and us that survival isn't clean. You don't get to pick your trauma companions. Sometimes you cling to the guy with a gun because he's the only one not actively trying to kill you. Moira's back, she's in, and she's ready to raise hell. A fucking men. Serena, you corporate girl boss villain. Can we talk about Serena Joy? Because she is in rare form this episode. She's planning a massive royal wedding to show off for the Gilead wives who think she's the HR rep of New Bethlehem. And I don't know what was more satisfying, watching them tear her down with condescending smiles, or watching Serena realize she's no longer the smartest woman in the room. But here's the kicker. Serena is still dangerous. She's weaponizing tradition now. Her wedding will be huge, symbolic, and ding ding ding, loaded with targets. Serena thinks she's flexing, but she's also painting a giant red handmaid-shaped bullseye on the whole affair. The plan. Explode the patriarchy, literally. June's comeback moment is chef's kiss. Lawrence plays her like a fiddle, again, casually mentioning Janine's alive, and the wedding will be stacked with every major Gilead figure in full smug mode. That's all June needs. Boom. Light bulb. Rage plus opportunity will plan. Let me say it plainly. This wedding is giving red wedding. They're loading in handmaids. The commanders will be there. Guardians pulled from all over, and Rita just received mystery powder in a package. If that's not poison for the cake, I'll eat my hat. June and Moira are going undercover. Aunt Phoebe's down. Janine's not invited, but you know June's going to bring her into the fold. It's all lining up. This finale is going to be explosive, literally and metaphorically. The big theory. Serena's going to flip. Okay, here's my spicy endgame theory, straight from the Oracle realm, aka the Dad Glasses vision. Serena is going to double-cross Wharton. Hear me out. She's tired of being underestimated. She's tired of getting snubbed by the other wives. And she's smart enough to see that Gilead 2.0 will never let her be more than a decorative womb with opinions. She's aligning herself with power now. And if the rebels show her that power can shift her way, she might just hand Wharton a poisoned slice of wedding cake herself. You heard it here first. Serena will turn on Gilead. Not for justice, not for June, for herself. Final thoughts. This episode broke hearts, broke alliances, and broke the narrative wide open. Nick is done. June is activated. Moira's locked and loaded. Serena is playing the long game. And Janine? I don't know what horrors she's enduring, but if she gets the final kill, I'm buying a Janine 2025 bumper sticker. The end of Gilead is coming, and it's not going to be a quiet one. Alright, that's it for this breakdown. If you liked this video, you know the drill. Like this video or Nick will tell you you're just as bad as the commanders. Subscribe or Aunt Lydia will personally assign you a new posting. Share this with someone who's still Team Nick so we can stage an intervention. This has been Mind Bang. See you next time.